Black Christmas, a classic. I don't have any notes written. Fun fact, I'm literally doing this after being up all night with Joe editing the Die Hard parody. And you know what? I'm sure by the time we get to this video being released, it's up to 10 million views.
10 million's a lot. You're just putting yourself way too high.
You're right. Probably like 5 million. We'll
I was
cut
going
it.
to go with 9, okay? Give yourself some credit. 9 million. Not
9 million
9
views.
million.
Yes,
Yeah,
9 million views. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's up to 9 million views.
I'm going to say if it doesn't get to 200K, I'm going to personally hunt you all down.
Yeah, you know, we got like 50,000 subscribers, and we worked really hard on that and spent a lot of time. And I'm sure
My face is still messed up from that makeup.
I'm sure all our subscribers are watching it.
And sharing it with their friends and family. Watching it on actual Christmas.
So yes, back to Black Christmas, the Bob Clark classic. It's Bob Clark is an interesting dude. His whole filmography.
Yeah.
He went from wrote and directed a movie called She-Man. Not sure what that one's about. But yes, he wrote horror movies, wrote and directed horror movies like Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, Death Dream, and then Black Christmas. But apparently he didn't really like doing those. But yeah, he has a wide variety of films. Of course, this one. And then he did Porky's and Porky's 2. And then A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who would have thought that'd be the same frickin' director?
Yeah, and then our friend Tab, his favorite movie, Rhinestone. He directed Rhinestone with Sylvester Stallone and Dolly Parton.
I love Dolly.
Please
hail
cut
Dolly.
to a couple seconds of Sylvester Stallone singing Drinkenstein.
Budweiser, you created a monster, and they call him Drinkenstein.
And then, of course, you know, as the years went on, he made other classic films like Baby Geniuses. And,
Look, that's a good movie. I don't care.
And he also did the sequel, Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2.
I didn't watch that one.
I didn't watch
You were like, no, let's not ruin the lore of Baby Geniuses.
It just does not.
But yeah.
Whatever happened? Is he coming out with anything good anytime soon?
He's dead.
Oh yeah, okay. That's true.
He's dead. I don't know if he wrote.
Can he come back from the grave and like fix some shit? When did he die?
2007.
When did Baby
God.
Geniuses 2 come out? Has it been that long?
2004.
Shit.
The last movie he directed was Super Babies. That was the last theatrical film. The last television film he did was Karate Dog.
That's what he did before he died.
Again, it's a fascinating director. Like, he never stuck around in one genre for too long. He went all over the place.
Well, now he went back to Christmas.
Yeah. I'm still stuck on Super Baby Geniuses, whatever. The second one came out, and you said 2004?
Yeah,
Where the fuck did time go?
I know.
I could have swore that came out more on the
Just
recent
yesterday,
side.
I was like, I better get my ticket for Super Geniuses, Baby Geniuses 2.
But I don't feel like that was. Ugh.
But now, Black Christmas, believe it or not, in recent years, I've watched this movie a lot. But I didn't actually watch this movie like in my teens or whatnot. I feel like I just never caught it.
I watched it in high school.
Really?
Yeah, I was shocked. You've literally never mentioned Black Christmas before. Until recently.
Well, see, you never really paid attention to me, even when we were dating. So I could have. Do you know what my favorite Romeo and Juliet is?
I'm sorry, what? I wasn't paying attention.
See, exactly. See, as I love Olivia, because I watched Romeo and Juliet in high school, I was like, what other movies is she in? Because she is very pretty. And Black Christmas was one of them. And I was like, I'm going to watch that.
That's right.
she
Girls
is-
like shoes or whatever you just said. Now listen. So yeah, I never really. So I never
your
really. I didn't watch it that much, but I was very aware of it. I didn't really like sit down and like truly appreciate it until a few years back. Our good friends Austin and Clay, they had a Black Christmas party,
That's actually pretty sick.
and I was like, all right. We're going to be watching Tyler Perry movies. This is going to be great.
I'm pretty sure I actually
I'm
asked you if she was wearing the sweater.
I'm going to walk in, blasting a boombox with Run DMC's Christmas. This is going to be great. And I was like, oh, the horror movie. I was very out of line.
Did you actually?
What?
Let's just keep going.
But
so it
I
was
think when What?
I'm kidding.
I am so confused.
No. So yeah, it was a Black Christmas themed party. I have the pictures of it. They literally put a wreath on their wall to look like the poster, and they had the saran wrap.
That's really funny.
She dressed like Olivia Hussey. I don't know if it was the same sweater exactly.
She had like the yellow collar. I couldn't find a yellow collared shirt.
Yeah. She had the yellow collar and a black sweater, and Clay was the guy from 2001: A Space Odyssey. He has a weird name. Oh God, Keir Duella. Yeah. So that was like a fun party, and they were giving me facts all during it. We did like trivia. And I'm like, oh man, it gave me a good appreciation for the film. And then of course Joe Bob did it on his stream.
That's what I ended up rewatching. Yeah.
Yeah, and I learned more about it there. And now because it's just always on Tubi or any streaming site, I
It's
put
free
it
on YouTube.
Huh?
It's free on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
I put it on all the time. Last year.
I think I watched it on Peacock though.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Peacock, last year me and my best friend watched Halloween Kills, and I mean, me and Crystal reviewed it. We said our piece about it. He really didn't like that movie, so we had to follow it up with Black Christmas. Like, he needed to wash the taste of Halloween Kills out of his mouth with Black Christmas.
Okay, I got that.
But yeah, if you haven't seen it, it is a phenomenal horror film. It's
It
really
is.
good.
It's a good horror film. I wouldn't say it's a great holiday horror film. I say it's a good horror film.
yeah.
It's like a Die Hard thing where it's like it's happening during Christmas or whatever, but its actual genre has nothing to do.
It has nothing to do.
Well,
with Christmas.
now Die Hard is a Christmas movie, thanks to us.
Talking about actual movies, Tony.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie was originally titled Silent Night, Evil Night.
Yep.
Apparently they didn't want to use Black Christmas because this was like during the 70s, so there was a lot of blaxploitation films, so they thought it might get grouped in with that.
Well, I mean, if you actually Google Black Christmas, like
It's
some
a
of the
whole-
things that pop up.
Same thing. So I was trying to figure out. I was like, okay, where can I watch all the different Black Christmases at? So I spoke into my Alexa Fire thingy, and I was like, hey, show me Black Christmas movies. And
Yep.
it took me a really
It's like
long
Tyler
time.
Perry.
Yeah, it took me a really long time to actually find Black Christmas, and I was like, oh, there it is.
You literally have to type in like the years, otherwise it doesn't pop up right away.
Yeah, no.
So if you don't know, the story is about a sorority house. And they're getting, what?
Really quick,
Yeah.
you know what it was originally supposed to be?
What?
It was actually supposed to be babysitters. Do
That's
you know
funny.
that? So
That's
yeah, because I
funny.
rewatched the Joe Bob one, and
Yeah.
I was like, there was so much information he shares, so I don't even know if I'm going to remember all of
Well,
it.
he says in the thing, there's like 5 documentaries about this movie.
Yeah.
There's
Is
so
it really?
many. Yeah.
Holy shit! It's the fact that it was actually supposed to be babysitters,
Mm-hmm.
but he eventually went into sorority and that stuff. And
Yeah.
they say that that Halloween was actually it was supposed to be a sequel of Halloween. Everyone wants to say,
It's like
and it's
misreported.
not.
Yeah.
It's
People think
not.
that's what it was, but there are some interesting facts there when we get to 2006. But yeah, so the movie's about a sorority house. They're getting calls from a creep that they call the Moaner.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Moaner like has heard of sex and he understands like parts of it, and he's trying to like say sexual things to them, but it's like weird.
Is that why you want to talk about the 2006 things? Because, yeah. Yeah.
But this one, like, I forgot. Like, usually when you go like further back, like the 70s, like you don't expect movies to have like
That
super foul
explicit,
language, and then
yeah.
it's just like, oh, you're blah blah blah, my juicy
Oh my
cock. I'm like, oh
gosh.
god.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie has an all-star cast, or people who would end up being huge. It's
Yeah.
got Olivia Hussey as the main character, Keir Duella, who was in
Do you know
2001.
why Olivia Hussey was actually decided to do this film? Because it's kind of, I'm going to say it's kind of below her before. Like, if you read the script, you're like, she's done amazing acting.
Yes,
theater.
Quest of the
She's one-
Delta Knight, Psycho 4, The Ice
No,
Cream Man.
no, no.
Oh, those are
But
the
she
only
really
movies
is
I've
an
seen her
amazing
in.
actor. But you look at this film too, you see her and her counterpart, what's his face? It's just like their acting actually stands out because they're really good.
Yeah.
But it's because she believed in psychics, and her psychic says she was going to go to Canada to film a movie. And a couple weeks later, she got the script for Black Christmas, said they were filming in Canada. And she's like, well, I have to take this because of what my psychic said. And the only reason why her counterpart ended up taking it is because she was in it. So if she didn't see the psychic, they would not have been in this movie.
You mean the guy? He took the part because she was in it? Yeah. I just thought he was a really convincing college-age actor. I looked at that guy. And
It's a little creepy.
I looked at that guy and I'm like, oh, that's a college freshman of
Not at all like Grease.
Oh my gosh. He was
Yeah.
what, 36 or 38?
Yeah, there's a lot. Maybe look, it's never too late to go to college. Maybe he started really late.
Or some people just look a little bit older for their
It is
age,
funny,
right?
like when you go further back, like in the 70s, it's like everyone just looks. I don't know if it's just they are too old, like Grease, or if it's just like people just aged really poorly back then. But yeah, Margot Kidder's in this, and she's great.
Oh, she's so good too.
She's so good in this. And
I love her
talked
wreath.
About, huh?
Her wreath.
Yeah, and we talked about the
Yes.
original Superman, which she would end up being
She
in.
has such a sad life of
Yeah.
going crazy and committing suicide.
Once again, John Saxon is in a movie, and I forgot my John Saxon autograph.
What the fuck? You fucked up.
Both times I've forgotten
You
it.
fucked up.
Andrea Martin, who comes back in the next film. Yeah, and it's just like a ton of people in this. This movie is very creepy. And again, this is like
good.
not quite a slasher film, but it's like Halloween is what solidified like what a slasher is, but this is like
Yeah.
that Texas Chainsaw era.
What?
The town that
Because they came out the same day.
Yeah, but like town that dreaded sundown. It's like when like the slasher series was starting to form.
But what makes a slasher movie a slasher then?
Well, I think it's just because like it eventually evolved into I'm a guy or I'm one person and I'm going around slicing people up.
I mean, that is what they do in Black Christmas.
Yeah, but it's not like this one is like more leaning on suspense and
Is it because you don't see him?
you don't really see
But
the
that
killer.
happens though in Halloween where you don't see him.
No,
for
you
most
see
of it.
you see Michael. Friday the 13th they cover it up a little bit.
Oh,
until
Friday the 13th,
sequels.
they have to hide it.
Like I said,
because
there were
it's
no
not
like
Jason.
cliches or rules set up yet, but this film led into films that would inspire the slasher genre.
I would still call this a slasher.
You
Yeah,
can
I
call it a slasher
I
if you
call
want.
Psycho a slasher. I say Psycho was one of the original slashers. I say Psycho was one of the original POV shots for slasher and horror.
Yeah,
I would say that, but everyone wants to say Black Christmas was.
no.
And then they want to say Halloween.
POV shots existed for a while.
The POV like as a killer. But
Oh,
but
okay.
that still existed.
Yeah, it existed.
They want to say so much came from this film, but I want to.
It's like
it's
this
not
is
that
the
it's
one
not
that
a bad
everyone
one.
saw and got big.
Yes, I'll
Yes.
go with that.
Um,
But even for Psycho, there was other things too.
But the POV is creepy in the beginning. This movie
I
is
love
so
it.
good at suspense and like building dread. Because again, you don't really see the killer. The most you see of him is his eye. His eye.
That yellow. Oh no, it was a red eye.
No.
It was the
Yeah,
red
no,
eye.
you're skipping ahead to the yellow
Sorry.
thing.
Yep. I had to remember which one was.
You only really see his eye, and you just hear him, and it sounds like he's like doing voices.
Agnes, don't you tell what we did, Agnes.
Like maybe the killer's name is Billy or
don't know.
Agnes. He's saying random shit. And it's real creepy. Like the movie gets away with so much just having them sit around a phone and just hearing nonsense, and it does like the perfect job of like filling you
Yeah.
with dread.
But that's also why back then though it flopped because of those reasons.
Yeah.
Now I think it's
Oh, it's a cult classic now.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think because people didn't really understand it.
There wasn't
and
a lot to compare it to
There
back
wasn't,
then.
and all of a
so-
sudden they're kind of bored with it, where they're not. It wasn't a satisfying ending for them.
Yeah.
It wasn't. You don't get a backstory of the killer, which a lot of people were really pissed off at. I'm okay with that. I actually
Yeah.
sometimes I don't like it when we go that deep into backstories.
That's
find
why I
it
like the
creepier.
original Halloween.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Because
Yeah.
then there's Halloween 2, and it's just like, no, you ruined
You don't need all the-
What
it.
about 6 where a cult made him or something?
Yeah.
Ruined
You
it!
know, Stop with the backstories. That's
Yeah.
why I also love the movie The Strangers. Like I will always say that is one of my. I find more of the realistic horror films because they were just murdered just because the people were home. There's no
Yeah.
backstory. There's no reason. There's no nothing. You don't know who they are. They're
And
just
this does a
because
great
they're home.
job of that.
And that's what I like.
Because we
There's
don't know
no-
what that guy's doing there
Yeah.
or why he's there.
And
like,
it puts that in your head. All of a sudden, now you're at home, and I think it's what it does when the movie is over that really creates that horror. Not when you're watching it, but it's the after effect of you're laying in bed. You're like, why the fuck was he there?
yeah. And again, maybe he's a guy named Billy. We don't really know.
We know nothing.
Because
We
he's
don't
just
know-
saying nonsense. We
Yeah.
don't know what his story is. But the kills aren't like overly graphic or anything.
They're not graphic at all.
No.
And no
You see
one's
no
like
blood.
overly acting or anything either. There's no like.
You all right?
There's a dust got in my mouth.
Anyway, there's no one's actually like overreacting.
No.
No.
Like when the one kill whatever when oh my god, her name Oh my god.
I'm blanking on all their names.
Olivia's character. I can remember the guy. I can't remember hers. She goes in and she sees some people dead or whatever. There's no like thing.
Yeah.
It's just like
It's not over.
looking in horror.
Yeah.
Like
That's what
Well,
I
that,
like.
one of my favorite shots in that movie. By
Well,
the
like
way,
that first kill where like the girl just like she's like realizes someone is in her closet and you kind of see him behind the plastic and he just wraps her.
Yeah.
And then throws her in front of the window, which
I
became
think
like the
that's great.
poster.
I think that's great. I
Yeah.
think that's, and the fact that kill came so early, like you see a little bit in the beginning of like something creepy kind of looking around with the POV and then going up the trellis. Little fact, that was before they had the Roman
Steadicams?
Yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
have the steady cams, so they actually made something and mounted it to put it on his head so it
Oh,
would
God,
swerve.
that's
So he was
gotta
able to.
suck.
I'm sure it sucked. Just listening to like all the behind the scenes of like Evil Dead and how they didn't have
Yeah.
much stuff to do. I can't even imagine because this is before Evil Dead being able to do that kind of stuff. But the first kill, I loved how quick it was.
Yeah.
It just like
They're all
you're just
quick. They're not
in the
gory,
movie.
really.
No, you're not build. You don't build on anything. You don't build on a backstory. You don't build on the characters. You just
And this is-
you go in, but yet you still care about the characters.
Yeah, this is back when it was
Which is
just like
interesting.
just the concept of someone killing you is scary. And then eventually the
yeah.
genre turned into like, well, now we got to become creative and you got to think of cooler ways.
Sure.
Which I like that too. But back then you didn't really need that.
Yeah.
And I like I said, the stuff with him always like pretty much always being in the attic and they don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's something that ended up being in Hellraiser, which worked really well.
Yeah.
Because I think that's another thing. It's like one of the things that scares me is when I hear something in the house that when I know I am alone, and it's happened to me multiple times.
remember that one time I came to hang
Did
out?
we tell this story on
I
the
know.
show? Okay.
Well, I want to say it again.
Yeah.
I went over to hang out when he still lived in Philly, and I was going down to his basement. Like his mom just let me in, and she's like, "Oh, he's down there, whatever." And he knew I was.
No, I
coming
was
over.
alone. I think I just told you it was unlocked.
Maybe I don't know,
But I didn't
Whatever.
hear you.
Regardless, he knew I was coming. Like he knew I was heading over there, and I'm walking down the steps or whatever, and like I just plop my bag down next to him or whatever because like he knows I'm, and literally he was just like, ah!
I was so scared. Like it really.
Like later,
I
he's
could see that happening now with Tony.
later
Wait.
he's telling me how like, oh, this is it, this is it,
I'm dead.
I'm done.
Wait, did I
I'm just like,
remember when I got the Arnold Schwarzenegger cutout?
oh yeah.
I got that cutout in like 2008. I bought it. We went back to my place and I left it in my room and like we forgot about it. And I left it in front of my window. So like when we came home that night, I walked in, I just saw the outline of a man in front. I was like, oh my God. So yes, stuff like that scares me. And which is why
Tony's
this movie
easily
like,
scareable.
Yes.
yeah, which is why this movie makes me really uncomfortable. Cause it's like, oh, I know he's
But
up
we
there.
only go into more uncomfortableness as the films go on for you.
But however, as scary as it is, it's also really funny.
Oh yeah.
The house mother is hilarious.
oh my gosh, she's great.
When
Oh,
she pulled the alcohol, was it brandy? What was
Yeah.
it? Whiskey?
Yeah,
Scotch,
out of the
whatever it
toilet.
was.
Out of the toilet.
I'm like, and she's like, what? She just like brushed her teeth. I'm like, girl.
She just took it, she gargled,
Girl.
spit it out, and then drank some more. And I was like,
Well, my favorite scene is when the poor dad who doesn't realize his daughter has been murdered. And he's like, oh, I was supposed to meet my daughter. Do you know where
she has her hand.
Yeah, he goes to her room and he's realizing his daughter's kind of like a wild child girl. And the the house mother's like trying to like
Hide things.
oh,
Hide
she's a
this
really
stuff.
great student. It's like, who's this boy? Like, he's a nice guy. And then there's like a poster of people having sex. She's like putting her hand on it. Like she's really trying to cover for the girls.
she's trying to cover, but she can also cover for herself. What is she on the
Yeah.
like the steps saying shit about
Yeah.
the cat?
Yeah, she's like talking shit. And I also love what is it? Is it Margot Kidder's boyfriend or whatever? Guy looks like Gene Shalit.
Oh.
When he's supposed to be Santa and he's just cursing in
Oh
front
my
of the
god,
kids.
that is hilarious.
And he's not even trying
No one
to
even
be
cared.
Santa.
Yeah.
There's some really funny shit in
There
it. I
is.
really, really like it. So yeah, it's really, really creepy. It does a good job of making you care about the characters, and of course, they added in like topical stuff for the day because it was a year after Roe v. Wade, which apparently, like, he didn't really have an agenda with that. He just thought it was something to like they just thought it just added.
It was a current thing. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this is a current thing. Make it more relatable. They weren't saying like if they were for it or against it or whatever.
Yeah.
But it leads, that whole subplot leads into this cool misdirect with the boyfriend.
Yeah, red herring.
Yes.
Yeah, it really does because he's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He's just kind of sort of crazy. And
Oh my god, when he was yelling at her, I'm like,
Or just when he's destroying that
The piano just going nuts.
And that also broke my heart. That piano, that's like a 9-foot grand piano. Those are like $100,000.
Look, give the guy a break, okay? He went to space and came back as a floating baby. All right. Have you ever done that?
Maybe.
You'd probably break some pianos if you went past Jupiter into another dimension and came back as a floating baby.
Maybe.
I would love to talk about 2001: A Space Odyssey on the show, and I know it'll just flop. I know.
Really?
Yeah, my audience is gonna be like boring.
Oh.
Boring.
I actually would like to review that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, well, whatever. So yeah, I pretty much like everything about this movie.
Yeah.
It's really, really solid. I don't think it's winning worst Black Christmas.
No. But when you do compare it to other films, I don't think it's one of the best horror films. I will say that. I think it's a good one for its time.
Yeah.
That is what I will say. I don't think it's
Oh, this is
when
my
you
number
think
one
of
pick.
like this is not my number one pick. But I think it's one of those things where it's really, like I said, it's really good for the times, and it's not everyone wants to be like, oh, Black Christmas is one of my favorite Christmas horror movies. But to me, it's not. It just happens to be Christmas. If I'm going to pick a good horror Christmas, I'd pick Jack Frost or Krampus.
Jack Frost.
The horror movie. Yes, absolutely. Jack Frost.
Santa's
Jack
sleigh is also there. You know?
Oh, there's tons of
Jack
them.
Frost.
Hey, Jack Frost is great. Fuck you.
Love Jack Frost.
Jack Frost 2 is even better. Fuck
was gonna
you.
say that.
God.
Tony and I are actually on the same page for once. I'm loving that. But yes, like that Krampus, like there's so many other where they actually take the holiday and they make it scary. This just happens to but it's a good horror film overall.
It's got a really great ending, which again people didn't like.
It's so good though.
Yeah.
Seeing that lady in the attic window and the phone ringing,
So
it's like,
creepy.
oh no, shit, that guy's still alive.
I also believe it was believable how everybody was being picked off and how like no one was just like, oh, well, people are dying before they figured out people were dying.
Yeah.
It is
like,
very believable. Yeah.
In 2006 was that?
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you not know? How? Like, what do you do? Like,
Let's not beef on my favorite one.
So yeah, I know we're kind of all over the place, but I kind of want you guys to see Black Christmas. Again,
You have to,
It's
yeah.
almost always streaming somewhere. Oftentimes for free, like you said, it's on YouTube.
And it's pretty quick too. It doesn't drag. It goes
No,
by
it's-
pretty quick.
yeah,
only
it's pretty quick.
they're
only
all about
and
an
a
hour.
half.
Yeah, I think they're all about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's got a great cast.
Jinx.
It's got a great cast full of just
Really good people.
college age 30-something people.
Peter sucks.
Huh?
Peter sucks. I'm glad Jess beat the fuck out of him, even though it wasn't the right guy.
John Saxon's good in it. I mean, he's got a lot to deal with. And he's got to deal with Freddy Krueger a few years later. Like, this guy's rough.
Yeah.
And Bruce Lee. He's got to deal with Bruce
Yes.
Lee.
Yes, he does.
That's the autograph I have. It's a picture of him with Bruce Lee.
That's
my
actually a pretty
God.
good one.
Yeah. So, the phone is ringing. Hello?
Do you have a copy of the 1984 classic film Rhinestone? I really need to watch it. I really need to watch it and sing along to all of the songs.
Okay, we'll call back later.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.